Good evening and welcome to NoorNews. Tonight, we examine the shifting strategic landscape in the Middle East following positive Hormuz talks, and we report on the escalating political crisis in Kosovo. Stay with us as we break down these stories and more, starting with the latest from the Strait. Diplomatic discussions regarding the Strait of Hormuz have shown signs of progress, according to reports from Al Jazeera. Officials in Oman have characterized recent talks as positive, suggesting that both sides are moving toward an agreement on a new shipping route through the strategic waterway. While the potential for a breakthrough has generated cautious optimism among regional observers, the final status of these negotiations remains unclear. Despite the constructive tone of the dialogue, Iranian authorities have issued a clear caveat, warning that any finalized deal would not equate to an opening of the strait for unrestricted passage. This distinction underscores the complexity of the ongoing maritime security negotiations, as Tehran maintains its position on regional sovereignty and transit protocols. The discussions are part of a broader effort to stabilize shipping lanes that are critical to global energy markets. Analysts suggest that while the willingness to engage is a significant development, the technical and political hurdles to a formal agreement remain substantial. International observers continue to monitor the situation closely, as any shift in the management of the strait would have immediate implications for global trade routes and regional security dynamics. Further updates are expected as the Omani-mediated talks continue in the coming days. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has officially welcomed a statement from the United Nations Security Council that condemns recent Houthi missile attacks targeting the kingdom and international commercial shipping lanes. According to the Qatar news agency, Riyadh issued a formal response on Saturday, expressing its support for the Security Council's stance following the release of the document on Friday. The UN body's condemnation specifically addresses a series of hostile actions that have escalated since mid-July. The Security Council highlighted the recurring missile strikes directed at Saudi territory, which have been ongoing since July 13, alongside a concerning pattern of aggression against commercial vessels operating in the region, which began on July 22. In its statement, the kingdom emphasized the necessity of maintaining regional security and upholding international maritime law. Saudi officials reiterated that these attacks represent a direct threat to global supply chains and the stability of the Gulf region. The UN Security Council's intervention underscores growing international concern regarding the security of vital shipping corridors and the protection of civilian infrastructure. Riyadh has called upon the international community to continue its efforts in holding the Houthi movement accountable for these violations of international norms and regional peace agreements. Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Pakistan have formally signed a joint defense agreement at Al Safa Palace in Makkah, establishing a new strategic security framework for the region. According to reports from the BBC and Al Jazeera, this pact is the culmination of months of high-level consultations that predated the recent deterioration of the Middle East security landscape. Analysts suggest the timing of the agreement reflects a calculated response to escalating regional threats, positioning the three nations as a unified bloc capable of navigating complex geopolitical shifts. The formation of this Makkah coalition follows the recent establishment of an international maritime security alliance led by Riyadh, which aims to stabilize regional trade routes. Diplomatic observers note that the agreement underscores a broader strategy by Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman to mitigate security risks through diversified partnerships. While the coalition's specific operational mandates remain under review, the agreement signals a significant realignment of regional defense priorities. The move is viewed by international observers as a deliberate effort to address sources of instability through formal, multilateral cooperation. Both the BBC and Al Jazeera confirmed that the agreement is intended to serve as a long-term mechanism for collective security, rather than a reactionary measure to immediate, short-term volatility. Tensions in Kosovo's parliament reached a boiling point on Saturday as caretaker Prime Minister Albin Kurti was pelted with eggs by an opposition lawmaker, forcing the immediate suspension of the legislative session. According to footage verified by sources, the incident occurred during a heated debate, marking a significant escalation in the country's long-running political instability. The disruption underscores the deepening divide within the government as the nation grapples with a protracted crisis that observers fear could trigger further unrest. The opposition has been vocal in its criticism of the current administration's handling of regional negotiations and domestic policy, with this latest act of protest serving as a physical manifestation of the legislative deadlock. While the parliamentary session was halted to restore order, the incident has raised urgent questions regarding the stability of the caretaker government and its ability to function amidst such intense hostility. Security personnel intervened following the barrage, but the atmosphere remains volatile as political factions show little sign of reconciliation. International monitors are closely watching the situation, concerned that the breakdown in parliamentary decorum may further delay critical reforms and exacerbate the ongoing political paralysis currently gripping the Balkan nation. New reports indicate that Israeli authorities are planning large-scale land expropriations across historic sites in the occupied West Bank, a move critics describe as the weaponization of archaeology to consolidate territorial control. According to Al Jazeera, these plans involve the designation of several Palestinian-owned areas as protected archaeological zones, effectively restricting local access and facilitating future land seizures. Analysts suggest that by framing these sites through a strictly Israeli historical narrative, the state is utilizing heritage preservation as a geopolitical tool to alter the status quo of the territory. The proposed expropriations have drawn sharp condemnation from Palestinian officials and international observers, who argue that the policy violates international law regarding the protection of cultural property in occupied territories. While Israeli authorities maintain that these measures are necessary for the conservation of significant historical landmarks, the move has sparked concerns over the displacement of Palestinian communities living in proximity to these ancient sites. The situation remains fluid as legal challenges are expected to be filed by human rights organizations seeking to halt the land seizures. We will continue to monitor the status of these sites and any further developments regarding the implementation of these expropriation orders. French authorities have confirmed the arrest of hundreds of individuals in connection with the unprecedented wildfires that devastated large swaths of the country last month. The government is currently working to determine the precise origins of these blazes, as officials attempt to attribute blame for the widespread destruction. According to BBC reporting, the investigation into the cause of the fires remains ongoing, with law enforcement agencies scrutinizing potential links between the suspects and the ignition points of the infernos. While the French Interior Ministry has publicly signaled that human activity is a primary focus of their inquiry, they have stopped short of declaring a definitive motive or a coordinated effort behind the incidents. The scale of the arrests has sparked a national debate regarding forest management policies and the adequacy of fire prevention measures in rural areas. As the investigation continues, authorities are facing mounting pressure to provide clarity on whether these fires were the result of criminal negligence, arson, or accidental human error. The government maintains that holding those responsible accountable is a top priority, though legal experts caution that establishing direct causality in such complex environmental disasters remains a significant challenge for investigators as they process the evidence collected from the affected regions. American celebrity blogger Perez Hilton is currently in a serious but stable condition following a medical emergency during a live broadcast. According to reports from the BBC, the internet personality was hospitalized after a live stream in which he engaged in self-harm. His family has since issued a statement confirming that he is receiving professional medical care and faces a long road to recovery. The incident has prompted widespread concern among his online audience and has reignited discussions regarding the safety protocols and content moderation policies of major live streaming platforms. While the family has requested privacy during this difficult time, they have expressed gratitude for the support received from his followers. Authorities have not released further details regarding the specific circumstances surrounding the event, but the BBC reports that emergency services were dispatched to his residence immediately following the broadcast. As the situation develops, mental health advocates are emphasizing the importance of crisis intervention resources for content creators who may be struggling with public scrutiny and personal distress. We will continue to monitor the situation and provide updates as more verified information becomes available regarding his condition and the subsequent response from platform administrators. Thank you for joining us for this verified report on today's global developments. We look forward to bringing you the facts again tomorrow. NoorNews, verified before published.